What's up guys, Nick here with Alpha Training and Nutrition. Today I'm going to be telling you guys the story of when I broke my femur. It was about 9 years ago. I broke my left femur, clean in half. Is a nice clean break. I have a intramedullary rod, so I got a pin all the way in my leg. It's still there. Basically, I was riding downhill mountain bikes. I was at a North Star, and so just for the setup, the 3 days prior, I had found out that my wife, or my girlfriend at the time, was pregnant. So I had a son who was going to be a dad. And I was also in my last prerequisite course for physical therapy school. So it was the second half of anatomy and physiology. So I had taken my final that Friday. I found out it was going to be dad the previous Wednesday or Thursday, and went out just riding downhill bikes on Saturday. And so basically what had happened, came in, there was a burn on the right side. So we went into the burn, and right out of the burn was a jump, and it was kind of a step down jump. So my bike compressed into the burn, all the suspensions, a full suspension, and then my weight had to have been shifted slightly forward. So as I was coming out of the berm, I was going off the lip of the jump, and the bike decompressed about here instead of out here, and so it essentially sent me flying nose heavy over the bars, and I flew for probably 30 feet, got the bike out from under me, rolled, absorbed it in my shoulder. When I was rotating back around, my leg had to have been sticking out slightly and snap. Also at that time, I had tore my ACL too. It took 9 months to determine that ACL tear though. So in there, I'm laying on the ground, and I've fallen multiple times. So generally I do check, wiggle the hands, good, wiggle the toes, good, neck, good. Like, all right, we're good. I'm laying in the downside landing of the jump, so I'm like, oh shit, I gotta get out of the way so I don't get landed on. So I go to pick my leg up in order to scoot so I can get some traction to get off the trail. Well, when I lifted my leg up, it felt like my foot was 40 or 50 feet away, and I knew that it was really bad. So I immediately knew it was bad. Luckily, one of my buddy Greg, he rolled up. He's like, Nick, are you okay? I go, no. I'm like, I broke my leg. He's like, are you sure? He's like, you seem pretty calm. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I know for sure. He got the bike patrol paramedics. They came out. Same thing. They're like, you sure it's broken, sir? I'm like, yeah. They're like, you're really calm. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I swear to you. So the pain wasn't too much at that point. I mean, I could still feel pain, but so they loaded me up on a stretcher. They had to hike me up to the top of the lift there, and loaded me into the back of an SUV, and took about 25 minutes kind of off-roading, bouncing around in the back of the SUV there. And that was a crazy amount of pain. You can imagine, you can feel every little rock and bump, and yeah, it was a crazy experience. So I loaded me up, took me to the hospital. The guy's like, "Oh, you'll have this guy's does this surgery all the time, femur fractures during ski season. Be good." I'm like, "Okay." I get there, I'm there for a couple hours. They X-ray me. "Oh, something with insurance. We gotta send you back down to SAC." Great. So they loaded me back into the ambulance and took me back down to SAC. And I was there, and had painkillers had wore off. They wouldn't give me any painkillers. Left me in the hallway, crazy pain, and then they needed another X-ray. So they took me to the X-ray room and had 5 of the just most incompetent individuals ever trying to load me onto the X-ray table. They couldn't do it. I yelled at them. I grabbed my own leg and picked it up and put it onto the table. I'm laying there. They're trying to adjust me. One of the people is like rotating my foot. I'm like yelling I'm like, "What are you doing? Like, my leg's broken. Like, why are you rotating my foot?" I don't know what these people were thinking. It was insane. They're X-raying, horrible pain. I'm like about in tears, and then they get me back into the hallway. At that point, my mom comes in and she takes one look at me and she just like freaks out. And then these fools then decide to get me pain meds. So got that. Laid in the bed, couple days. Kept putting the surgery off. "Oh, you're going in next." So they prepped me for surgery. Then the surgery get canceled. Anyways, finally, surgery's done, everything, whatever, successful. I get to go home. A bit of a struggle there. Can't end up, main thing I think I kind of needed assistance with was like to bathe and whatnot. So my girlfriend helped me there. Yeah, from there I went to physical therapy a couple times. I had the most freaking, again, incompetent physical therapist. It was horrible. Worked with 3 of them. All of them were just retarded. And I swore to myself that I would never be a physical therapist like these people. They were, you would talk to them. It was like talking to a wall. They wouldn't listen. They had their own agenda on everything, and it was a horrible experience. So I never returned to PT, and I did my own rehab, and so that was quite a bit of a challenge. Definitely was painful, and my leg had lost. Once the swelling went down, had lost so much size. My glute like disappeared. Left glute completely gone. Pants can't even hold up because I don't have a butt anymore. So that was a bit of a struggle. And so I just looked at my rehab as like my full-time job, and I'm like, I've got a kid on the way, and I got to just get this done as quickly as possible. So I pushed through my rehab. I was, doing everything that I possibly could, and I returned back to work as a personal trainer in 7 weeks. So at 7 weeks, I could perform all movements that I needed to, including like squats, in order to like demonstrate and stuff for my clients. So I had full range of motion and everything. I just was weak, and it was painful. So, but I just kind of kept pushing through that and kept training, and did what I could. I was not the smartest thing. I was back to riding mountain bikes 3 months later. I actually did a mountain bike race too at 7 months. Again, not the smartest thing. I hit a point I couldn't really get much stronger. I was just like limited, and I was having a lot of knee pain. I had to thought that I had damaged the ACL early, but I wasn't fully sure. But it hit a point, and I'm like, yeah, I definitely did. So I was trying to pursue an MRI. Took 7-8 months to get the MRI on the my knee. Turns out, so it wasn't completely torn. It was a partial tear, and it was still pretty much, the ACL was still pretty much connected, but the ACL had been stretched out. So I had all of the symptoms of torn ACL. So I still had all that laxity, and I didn't really have that support there. And I was like, well, by the time they got around to offering me a surgery, it was, my son was gonna, I think my son was actually had been born then. I was like, look, I'll just do it later. And so I put it off. Anyways, I never had my ACL repaired. So I still have those symptoms, but I don't really run. And if I do the main sports that I do are riding mountain bikes and riding dirt bikes. So if I ride my dirt bike, I wear a Dawn Joy pretty heavy duty carbon fiber brace to add that support, but I don't really run, and I'm not cutting and playing basketball and doing those things. So I just leave it alone until it becomes a major issue down the road. But full recovery for the femur fracture though was over a year though. So they told me it was going to be a year, and I was like, yeah, fuck you guys don't know me. And granted, I was back to doing a lot of the things that I wanted to do, but I did have pain that I was dealing with well over a year. Was still having pain with that injury, and the another big takeaway from that was just the kind of the psychological effect that the injury had taken on me in terms of right before that. My son was going to be born. I had just passed my anatomy and physiology class, and I kind of on the top of the world. On top of that, I was also hitting my PRs for squat, and I was pretty much at my peak in terms of lean mass. So I was in an off season, but my mass in strength, that was the peak right there. And so I had to be taken from that top and just brought all the way back down to where I essentially had no function in my leg, lost all the muscle, and then had to build back up. And so, it was tough, but it was never at a point where I was, I can't do this or anything. I was just always okay, it's just part of the process. Just another day, just back at the gym, and then just kept grinding. After that though, that pretty much eliminated any of my hopes and dreams of becoming a bodybuilder. Those were pretty much gone because I just couldn't get the mass back in my leg and in my glute. And so it's been years and years, and so I'm pretty much now, like I said, we're 9 years out from that, and I'm just now at a spot where I'm like, okay, I'm ready to try to really put 100% into this bodybuilding thing. and go full speed. So that's kind of where we're at, and that's the story of me breaking my femur there. So it was definitely a blessing in disguise, because it was the most humbling experience that I've encountered. Like I said, I was at my peak on amongst all aspects there, and just got brought back down. But it's been a journey, and I was probably able to get back into bodybuilding years earlier than now, but I was going to school for physical therapy and riding mountain bikes, and didn't really want to be that big. That was kind of my thing. So still doing those things, but at this point it's just a goal of mine to be successful at bodybuilding and trying to achieve this desired physique that I have. And I'm 34 right now, and so I see a small window to where I'll probably be looking to peak out about age 40. So I'm looking at it as I've got this 6-year window to just put my head down and balls to the wall in order to achieve desired goals for myself. So I'll kind of be tracking my journey from here on out, and should be good. If you guys have any questions for me, shoot them down below. I'll try to answer those. And thanks for watching, guys. All right, later.